How are you?
Man, just
Can you
chilling.
hear me okay?
Yeah, I could. I
Okay,
could.
cool. So everybody, this is Jae Gunna. He's right out of Harlem, and we are so excited to see him because he has been doing the most. I mean, his music is freaking amazing. Tell us about who you are, where you're from, and what you're about.
I was born in the Bronx, raised in Spanish Harlem. I've always had a thing for music since the first time I seen Michael Jackson. That's been my inspiration. But unfortunately, I grew up and couldn't really sing. So I had to find something else to do in the music world, and that's when I discovered rap, and I went that direction.
That's super dope. I mean, I think rap is a thing that has to come from the heart, and I think it's not for everybody. But I feel like if you're someone that can find your voice in rap music, I think there's something you should definitely gun for, and I think you're doing that.
Yeah, most definitely. I've always had a thing for writing anyway, like since a kid. My mom's used to do poetry, so that's in my DNA.
That's what's up. I mean, I don't think everybody can really say that about like their parent being into poetry. I think that's fire, especially if she passed the baton on to you. That shit is dope.
Yeah.
Don, just tell me a little bit more like about music. I know that you say that you started rapping, but what did rap music do for you as a person?
It definitely kept me out of trouble. So like when I was in high school, I knew kids who was becoming Crip, who was becoming Blood and things of that nature, and some was selling drugs and all that craziness. Good thing for things like Smack DVD. I don't know if anybody remembers Smack DVD, but that's when they used to have like the battles and things like that. Also around the same time, I think 8 Mile had came out. So like battling and rap just really became a thing. And like because of Smack DVD, I'd be like, yo, Ma, can I get $5 to get the bootleg? I'll go get the bootleg, come bring my ass right back home and watch that, and then tighten up my raps.
Right. Listen, Smack is iconic. I saw him on this other show, Rhythm and Flow, and he was on there too, which was amazing to see him with like Sue Surf and all these other artists that have actually came up in the game. Listen, I think that would be a dream of mine. If there wasn't so many gangsters there, I definitely probably would go to to one of those things.
Yo, I'm kind of mad I didn't go the battle route.
Yeah.
Because some niggas is money. Like, I'm talking spraying just for like 3 rounds.
I know how it is, and I felt like, and the energy in there is dope. I mean, I feel like you don't get that rawness.
Yeah, man, it's definitely like what hip hop is supposed to feel like.
Exactly, I agree with that 110%. And being that we can definitely see ourselves being in a certain role, but it's like to be in that limelight just once in your life, I feel like everybody should do it. And I'm telling you that if that's what you wanted to do, or if that's what you even wanted to just experience just once in your life, I think you should just try it.
Nah, you know why? Like, I'm too nice. I have too good of a heart to like take my time out and be like, all right, this nigga nose is this big ass, or he ugly ass, your girl's a hoe. Like, I can't.
Right.
I don't got time for it. Like,
it's a special type of person to do something like that. I feel you. I get it.
Yeah, and then what battle rap is today, like, they took it to the next level. I'm good. I'll stick to my music and the beats where I'm safe.
Exactly. I can understand that. So speaking about your music, tell me more so like, how did you find your sound? Like, what was it like before you found like this is what you wanted to sound like on the regular? How did you go back and forth with that?
When I started getting into rap, like I started studying people like Eminem, Nas, Jay-Z, LL Cool J. I was like downloading their lyrics, reading it, memorizing them, and like taking their lyrics and then tweaking it and making it my own. But as far as like sound, Fab. When Fab came out, I was listening to Fab. I was like, yo, I love this nigga voice. Is smooth. It felt like that's who I was. So in my beginning stages, I was straight jacking his flow. I was like Fab mini me. It wasn't until later where I started gaining more confidence within myself, and that's when I found my own sound. So
tell me a little bit more, like for instance, like when you make a song, how do you critique yourself? Like, do you go for what it sounds like, or what you can, like, do you find your lyrics, maybe you feel like, yo, I could have said that better, maybe I could change that bar, move this around? How do you critique yourself, and how does it make you a better rapper?
I mean, it's a little bit of both as far as like the sound, but also for me, I'm a lyricist, so it's about the lyrics also. But as of now, like, because before my writing process was real crazy. It was like mad scientist. If you look at my memo pad right now, you would see lines from 2016, 2015, just random punchlines. I will pick a beat. Okay, I like this. I will come up with a concept, and then from there, I will create a hook. And then outside of that, when it gets down to the verses, I would start going through all my random bars and seeing what makes sense and put it together like pieces to a puzzle.
I think that it takes a special
real mad scientist, like, and not for nothing, I feel like it kept me real boxed in too. So it wasn't until now, as of recently, where I don't I don't care about punchlines no more. I don't do punchlines really. Like if it happens to happen, then it happens. But for the most part, I like to just talk from the heart. So I just free right now. So as soon as my pen hit the pad, as soon as it drops, I stop rapping. I don't think about it no more because I feel like that's the best way to live in your truth. You know what I mean? And be as honest as you can be. So, and not for nothing, shout out to my college professor, because that's why I started getting into free writing. Like he introduced that to me, and ever since then I feel like I'm a better artist for it.
I mean, I think we all kind of run into certain people that kind of have this impact on our lives, and we don't really know who that person might be. And when we do,
real talk.
So it's like when you meet that person, you're just like, yo, I remember that shit you said to me, and that shit resonated. Like I love like knowing that there's people in this world that we have no idea who they're gonna be. It could be a professor, it could be someone you just met in the street.
Yeah, real talk. And like that was my English professor. Then my other professor, my speech professor, yo, he was the best ever. Like this nigga was so vulgar, so blunt, right? But I remember I had to do a presentation, right? A speech presentation. And I did good, but I kind of felt like I held back a little bit too, because I didn't want to be too overly passionate. Like I didn't want to be judged for how passionate I felt about what I was talking about, right? And so me and my college professor, like after class, this is how cool he was. Like we was talking and he was like, yo, you want to go get some tacos? And he took me to get some tacos, and then we was chopping it up. And you know, I told him, he was like, yo, you did such a great job with your speech. He said, yo, have you ever thought about teaching? I think you could be really good as a teacher. And I said, yo, you know what? Maybe, I don't know. And then I was like, yo, but I can't front. As good as you felt like I did on this speech, I was kind of holding back because I didn't want to be judged on how passionate I was. And then he looked at me and said, what? Who cares if they don't understand what you're saying? If they don't get it, fuck them. And the way he said that just was like, word. If they don't get it, fuck them.
Right.
Why am I holding myself back? Because of insecurities, really.
Now, I have a question for you, because with you saying that, it kind of makes me feel like, what can you tell other people who don't really know how to be free? You know what I'm saying? When it comes to writing and when it comes to being an artist, what can you say? How did you get yourself there? What did it take for you to become free?
Therapy.
Right.
I think the biggest thing is just to be honest with yourself, right? Like that's what it really is. Being on, like look in the mirror and just be honest with yourself. Tell your deepest truth, because there's times we lie to ourselves, like and we keep that lie going and going. So it wasn't until I was honest with myself and was like, yo, you got problems, bro. There's a whole lot of things that you doing in your life. You sabotaging good relationships, friendships, romance, all that. And it was like, you know what, bro? You got to get yourself together. And then that's when I started going to therapy and things like that. So a mixture of me continuing on practicing on my craft with the free writing, and then also getting into therapy, and then honestly coming to a lot of my truths. That's what helped me out. And I think that's the best thing to do. Just say to yourself, yo, do I want change? And if the answer is yes, actually do something about it. Because you only got one life to live, yo. So you're going to live your whole life not living up to your full potential?
I agree.
Hell no.
I agree. Listen, I just wanted to say I appreciate your transparency and, you know, you just being honest with yourself as a person, because it takes a special type of person to get yourself there. And to share that and keep it real with yourself. And as just being a human being, I feel like a lot of artists, we don't get a chance to really see the deep part of them, and this is why I'm doing what I'm doing, because of that. Like I want you to be comfortable in this space. I want you to be able to speak. Of course. And it's just a different way of life, and I feel like the world needs more of the transparent part of what we go through every single day, because a lot of people don't understand that they're not alone. You know what I'm saying? So that's important.
Yeah,
super important.
Is that and we tend to be embarrassed too.
Yeah, of course, as you shouldn't.
Of that vulnerability and that weakness. So, but it's nothing to be embarrassed about, man. We all human. Nobody's perfect, and that's another thing I would say. Remember, nobody's perfect. Nobody, not even Beyonce, and that's the queen.
Right. And then on top of that, you got to think as well, like, you know, there's no embarrassment, because not only are we all human, we all go through things, but it takes one voice, it takes one person to change something that can really affect. It's like a domino effect. If you just keep speaking your truth and you can say something, you never know who's really listening to you, and they're just like, you know what, I remember when Jay said this and it really resonated with me as a person, and I've been wanting to be this person, but I don't know how. And he allowed me to take that next step. So that kind of like leads me into your song Warrior Cry. And I really feel like that song, I can relate to it. And I know if I can relate to it, there's many other people that can relate to it. And it kind of, that song
Yeah.
right there is just like, I don't know, it's special to me. When I heard that song, for me, it was just like, damn, like, you're right about that. Like, damn, I felt that before. Like, there was so many different times I was just like, yeah, you know what? That right there. You know what I'm saying? So tell me a little bit more about Warrior
Yeah.
Cry and what it means to you.
Warriors Cry, I think is one of my most honest records. I mean, I've always been honest in all my records, but this was the one record where it was like I didn't hold back. Like usually in a lot of my records, like I'm an emo type rapper, period. I'm emo. So like, I get into the emotional and the pain and this, that, and the third, the sadness, but I always keep it like just right there. You know what I mean? And with Warriors Cry, I finally stepped over the line and I started saying some things that was deep, things that took me years and years to even admit to my mother. But yeah, Warriors Cry, and Warriors Cry is so funny. Like it was a journey, right? Because like each verse I wrote separately, right? So the first verse was like there was some things going on like in my circle, and so I was kind of like hitting that, right? But at the same time, as I was touching on that, I was just realizing so many other things about like, being haunted by demons and like, on a joint, I say I got to fight these giants for my OGs. The OGs I was speaking on was my parents, right? Because it's like they have demons that they passed on to me. They not knowing. And as these demons get passed down, they become giants. That was just that. And second verse, I like every verse I get in deeper and deeper to like what I'm really talking about. But for the most part, by the time we get to the end of the song, you realize a lot of my pain and struggle was coming from the fact that I was molested as a kid. And I feel like that's something that's not ever really talked
It's
about.
not. Especially in the Spanish heritage. Let's just be honest.
Yeah, because
You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? Let's keep. You know what? Because we being real, let's keep it. No, 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 no. Let's go there real quick because what we talk about is how, or Spanish. It could be Spanish. It could be any household. But I feel like it's more. It happens more in those households where we're told to be quiet and we're told never to speak of it. And if we ever do speak of it, we'll be looked at in a certain way, or our family will be looked at in a certain way. So we can't talk about it because if we talk about it, we're going to be judged about it, and nobody wants to be judged. We have to be the perfect family, and that's not what it's about because we suffer now. We're all suffering now from the shit that we've been through back then, and especially something so big like that. Again, I commend you for your transparency on that because again, it's not something that people talk about. And I mean, I don't know if you have the song available, but if you do, I would really love everybody to hear that song because it's my favorite. I know if I love it, y'all gonna love it too.
Well, yeah, most definitely. Hold on, let me make sure. There's no technical difficulties.
No,
One
you're
moment.
good. Don't worry. We're not judging it. This is a safe place.
But it's so crazy though because with that record though, like originally it wasn't gonna go there. Like, cause I had the first verse already written, but it wasn't until after my therapy session, one of my therapy sessions, that's when it hit me, and I felt like I was inspired to write. And so from the second verse to the third, that was all therapy.
Listen, it's all. I think that therapy could be. It's something that everybody should really apply to their life when they finally figure out where it needs to be applied and why we need it, and those mishaps that we don't really talk about. I feel like eventually some of us, if we really like meditate and get ourselves there, we could definitely go there. But I'm excited about this song.
Yeah.
Need a breather, his leaders bleeding and dying off. I write it off. There's hell on earth while hell's reversed inside me. In these therapy sessions, hoping it guides me. My dark pain seems to blind me. Innocence stolen at age 4. As I suffer in silence and rage more. My own family, oh how I hate it now. Just stop playing nice and fucking name it now. But it's all on me, I can't blame it now. Came around knowing I'm a gift for real. Though I hesitated, mixed up still. I'm here elevating, pistol still, bitch. For leaving your burdens with little cousin. Thought it was love, but it really wasn't. It's audio ain't for an audience. It's a warrior's cry out to the damn. She was supposed to be my guardian. This audio ain't for.
Thank you for that. Warrior Cry is available. It's actually available. Is that I believe it's on all platforms.
Yeah, all platforms, all streaming platforms.
Listen, if you guys really want to listen to it word for word, I promise you, you will not be sorry.